And now back to the HaneyBiz Project with investorpreneur Mark
Welcome
Haney.
back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of accounting firm Clifton Larson Allen. I'm Mark Haney, and I am rejoined by Curt Rocca and Roger Akers this morning, and we've been talking about investments, earlier stage investments, what it's like at a little bit later stage. And I'm kind of wondering, maybe I'll start with you, Roger. Are you seeing the lines being blurred between the angel investing community, the venture capitalists, and the private equity and the growth equity players? How are those lines being blurred?
Well, that's a great question. I think the blur comes from a lot of angel investors trying to follow the VCs and be part of a VC round as an angel.
Okay.
And you see a lot of that occurring out there.
The angels investing basically at the same time.
At the same time,
Okay.
or trying to just follow, be with the bigger money as it comes in. Investing in underfunded projects is a death knell for a lot of angel investors. That's why they all sit around and grump around and say, I never make any money on angel investing. Well, the reality is a lot of times they don't have the skill, the expertise to do the proper evaluation, due diligence for the amount of money that they're going to do, nor do they want to put that much time into it. And so they try to follow people that actually do that kind of stuff for a living.
Is that a smart move?
Absolutely. but there are some great angel investors out there that do know what they're doing and that can bring real value to the investors that aren't necessarily in that venture arena.
And can help you through those early stages to get to the A round or the B round.
Well, how much fun would it be if you had somebody on your team that could go negotiate the teeth out of the venture capitalists?
Yeah, you bet. Well, I feel like between Curt Rocca and Roger Akers, I feel like you guys are kind of on my team, so I may get in your hip pocket a little bit and try to continue to learn and maybe invest alongside you guys if I can. But Curt, thinking about these later stage companies and the blurred lines, how often are you tempted to look at companies that maybe are a little bit less mature?
Yeah, we've done it. There's no question, and we've had a lot of success in doing it. For us, the real key is how strong is the management team, and how clear is that path to getting to be a private equity type company. We actually co-invested with a venture group in one of the deals. It was sort of at that cusp. It was a little bit small for us. It was a little bit big for them. And we co-invested in the deal for about, I don't even remember, 7 or 8 months probably. And we said, look, this is likely to shake out one way or the other. It's either going to grow much more quickly and it's going to be more comfortable for us to continue with the investment, or it's going to struggle a bit and it's going to be more comfortable for you. As it turned out, the company struggled a bit. It was more of a venture play than it was a private equity play. The venture capital group bought us out, and they now doubled their holdings. And
everybody wins.
Everybody wins. The company got the benefit of both perspectives early on, and I think it was a great model. So the two don't have to. I would say that the fact that there are blurred lines, especially in Sacramento, doesn't really matter because there aren't that many, right? And so my advice to companies is talk to everybody, right? Yeah. There aren't that many to start with, and then figure out who's the best fit for you, and they're going to tell you.
In Sacramento, I don't know if for you guys who have been doing this for a long time and you guys invest all over the country, but you have a focus here in Sacramento with it being our hometown. And I've talked to both of you guys about the importance of entrepreneurs winning in our hometown. It does so much when a small business grows here locally, in economic growth and jobs and all that kind of good stuff that happens when businesses thrive. Now, Roger, thinking over to you, in Sacramento, you've talked about the people who help make that happen in Sacramento. You've recognized attorneys and accountants and other folks that are so important. So that advisory team in helping a company grow here in our region, and how strong we really are when it comes to that supporting cast.
Well, we have a lot of great resources. One of them is Curt across the way here. As much time as he gives of himself, as well as many other people in the region. How much time does Moneta Ventures and Locash Sakari and those guys, how much time do they spend mentoring companies to get them to a point where they can make those kinds of investments? And a lot of the angels, like the Sacramento Angels Group, they mentor all kinds of companies through that facility. McClellan Park, I was just meeting with them the other day. The program that they've got going out there to mentor companies is just an incredible group of people. Yeah. They're easy to find. They're easy to find as long as you want the help. But, if you have a bunch of engineers that are trying to build a company and they think that their baby's going to be the best, and they're building it, and a lot of people are a little afraid to ask for help. Maybe they think they've got all the answers, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you need to throw off a few of those things and just go ask some people what they think and see what you can learn, because there's a lot to know.
And you think too, Roger, that as often as not, it's that they know they don't have all the answers and they just don't want to be vulnerable?
I think that's absolutely true.
I think
if they've got an IQ of 170 and yet they still don't have the answer and they're kind of embarrassed that they don't, which is not good thinking.
And the unfortunate, I'm sorry to
go ahead,
cut you off,
Curt.
Mark. I was going to say that the thing that, I now know, because my background was coming from the entrepreneurial world, right? And I was a business guy and I was out raising money and doing all these things. And at the time, I had no idea that there were people like Roger and people like myself now who spend 50% of our time trying to find great companies to invest in.
Right.
I figured, no, it was just my job as the business person to go out and find that needle in the haystack and beg and plead for them to give me money and prove my worth. But what I had no idea is they were just as interested in finding me as I was in finding them.
Well, in DCA, you guys put on, I'm in the SAC Angels with Roger. I'm invested into DCA, so I'm around you guys a lot, and I feel privileged to have that. But DCA, Curt, you and Steve and the group, you guys put on some great events over there. So when people are thinking, well, how do I meet guys like Curt Rocca or Roger Akers, the other people in the investment community, I can go to a DCA Capital event. I know you guys have an event coming up where you brought in a panel to help talk about sales, right?
Yep.
And I noticed I wasn't on that panel because I don't know if it's the JV team that's on the panel. Who are these guys?
I think it conflicted with one of your radio shows, one of your social investments.
I will be there clapping and learning as well. But in an event like what you guys have, I'm looking at it's September 13th. You can go and think about how to grow, how to raise capital from your customer, right? How to sell stuff. That's as important as anything in building these businesses.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And that's why we've partnered with Sac State, Moss Adams, Wells Fargo, Interwest Insurance. I mean, a lot of the same people, as Roger said, there's the same group that really invests a lot in giving back to the community, Weintraub, Tobin. And it's the same people. And so we try to support them. They support the community. But we do these events at Sac State. We do them 3 times a year. And we bring in a keynote speaker, some second-rate panelists. We'll do better next time, Mark.
And that is totally a joke to any of the panelists. I didn't even look to see who was on there. I just knew my name wasn't called.
The keynote had a short list of people he didn't want on the panel because he was afraid they'd show him up, and you were on that list, unfortunately.
Well, I have to tell you, the amount of time and effort that DCA puts into those programs and bringing the people together, I'll tell you, some of the best keynote speakers I've heard in this region for the last 15 years came through that program.
Yeah.
One on millennials, you go, millennials, who cares about millennials? You know that thought process. But the fact of the matter, they're the new workforce, right?
Yes.
So if you don't understand what they're doing, it was one of the best keynote speeches by this woman that in one of these DCA programs that I've ever heard in my life.
Well, if we can focus too, I mean, you guys do so much for this community, but one of the things that I promised myself to talk about today is the Capital Cup. Both of you are leaders in this very important golf tournament that lasts multiple days. Curt, you're wearing the shirt. Give us an overview. What's the Capital Cup all about? What should we know?
So we've got 28 local business leaders, and those are bankers, accountants, investors like Roger, and a lot of C-level executives, mainly CEOs and business owners, that paid $2,500 just for the opportunity to play in this 3-day golf event and to raise money for a charity that they were passionate about. Most of the golf tournaments, I was involved with the American Cancer Society golf tournament. Roger was as well for a number of years and still are. But you have a lot of these golf tournaments, and they have hundreds of volunteers, and they work their buns off, and they raise, you know, $25,000, $30,000, $40,000. And as business people, we get, you know, we could play golf, you know, at these charity deals like every week.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's just no time to be able to do it. And so the concept was, let's put together one event that allows everybody involved to pick a charity and raise money for that particular charity, but have, by virtue of the fact that you have this event, it's almost like the big day of giving. It feeds on itself. And so, for example, I mean, last year we raised almost $750,000 in 3 days of a golf tournament. The average golf tournament raises less than 30.
And right now, you guys are sitting at 667 or 675, something like that. You need another 350 to reach your $1 million goal. Roger, you're on the blue team. Curt is on the red team, so you guys will be competing with one another, but you're on your way to the goal. But talk to us about your cause. I went out to Top Golf with you the other day, and that cause is very personal to you.
Well, when you're a cancer survivor, you're motivated, and you also see the people that aren't going to make it by having cancer, which are close and near and dear to all of us as we go along the way. And so American Cancer Society is mine, and they've been my charity for the last 3 years, being part of the Capital Cup, and we've had some great success in raising money through ACS. But, you know, it's not just about ACS, and don't get me wrong, send all your money to ACS to me. We're happy to take it. No problem with that. But I have to tell you, if you just have a list of the different charities that are involved and the amount of money that's being raised, you have Boys and Girls Clubs, Easter Seals, American Cancer, First Tee, Cristo Rey High School, American Heart Association, on and on and on. And the guys that are involved with this golf tournament are just incredible people. It's been a great treat for me to get to know some of the people that I didn't know that are great leaders in our region and have a great giving heart and want to give back. And that starts with, you know, how many superlatives can you have for Curt Rocca? Because let me tell you, him and his organization, they bust their butts every single day to give back to the community. And they also make a lot of money, but they give back every bit of it, I think. The way I keep my ledger, they give back more than they get. But that being said, I'm going to interrupt you just for a sec. Is just so you know, with the amount of money, the $1.4 million that was raised in the first 2 years and the $1 million that's going to get raised this year, the amount of public exposure and the amount of recognition for that great feat needs to be further recognized in our community and fully understood in our community, and people need to get even further behind it than they have so far. It is a great effort, and literally 100% of the money that's raised goes directly to the charities. It's not used for expenses or for us to drink a bunch of free booze or a bunch of that kind of stuff. So I'm all.
Well, we love what you guys are doing.
We buy our own booze.
Yeah,
we buy our own booze.
You know what? You guys are entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. You guys have had your own success in your life, and you're continuing to help other entrepreneurs, you know, build these businesses, but doing it in a way that is so good for Sacramento, so good for people who are trying to figure out, you know, how to deal with these extremely difficult issues, whether it be the Cancer Society or the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, or
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. No, don't be forgetting that one.
Yes, and Tom Candris, the entrepreneur next door to me. I'm helping him out a little bit with his. And I think his is the
American Heart Association.
Heart Association, yeah. So many different things that we battle, I guess, and it's up to the leaders of Sacramento to step up and I guess lead by example, and that's what you guys do every day. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show today and for sharing your words of wisdom. And Curt's volunteered to interview me at a later date. So one of these days we're gonna get Curt back on here to turn the tables on me and get to know who is the real Mark Haney behind the host. Giddy up, did I get
a little jump in there and give a little shout out to a couple of our sponsors?
Great idea.
Wanted to give a shout out to Derek and Murad over at Sun Systems Technology. Thank you so much for all that you do for our show and hooking our our building over here at the Allegiant Giving Center.
Yeah, also, we got solar on the
looking good up there,
saving
us money. Really appreciate that. And also, Ethan Conrad Properties, all you do for the Entrepreneurial organization here and people in Sacramento. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. And you know, just thinking about all the opportunities that we have here in Sacramento, and again, just want to do one last thank you to you guys. And if you want to get a little more Mark Haney, some people don't want more Mark Haney, but if you do, don't hesitate. I will be out there at the Golf Classic with you guys with the Capital Cup, at least on the third day. I'm going to be at the DCA events and obviously out there at Sac Angels. So look forward to meeting all of you and continuing our journey and our mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution right here in Sacramento. When we come back, we'll have some closing thoughts from today and talk a little bit about what I call the power of with. And this will continue in about 3 minutes, so get yourself ready. This is the HaneyBiz Project.